Hi, my name is Warren McPherson and welcome to another video tutorial on piano and music theory. In today's tutorial, I would like to talk about major chords and minor chords and how you can build them anywhere on the piano and the two ways in which you can approach building a major chord or a minor chord. All right, so let's take a look. Okay, so the basic chords that we'll be looking at today are called triads, and I will be focusing on two triads, the major triad and the minor triad. And in this tutorial, I will be showing you how to construct these triads anywhere on the piano. First thing you need to know is your major scales. If you do not know your major scale, I suggest you check out my videos on major scale and the major scale fingering, because everything is derived from the major scales. I cannot stress how important it is to know your major scale very well. It will only help you to learn the other topics and the other advanced stuff with chords quicker when you know your major scale really well. Okay, so let's work in the key of C for a minute. So this is a C major scale. Now, if we take the first degree of the scale, the first note of the scale we call the first degree. The third note of the scale we call the third degree. And the fifth note of the scale, the fifth degree. So the 1, the 3, and the 5. That is a major chord. And it's the C major chord. So basically, the rule is if you take the 1, the 3, on the 5 of any major scale, that will give you a major chord. And chords or triads get their name from the first note of that chord. And triads are basically 3-note chords. C major. Let's try test this theory. Let's go to F major. If we take the first degree of F major, the third degree, and the fifth degree, we get the F major chord. Let's go to G major. Again, if we take the first degree, the third degree, and the fifth degree, we get the G major chord. And if you notice a pattern here, chords are built by just skipping every other note. Wherever you go, you just skip every other note. Now that is a minor chord, and we will get to that in a bit. But let's try this pattern on a black key. For example, B flat major scale. Again, if we take the first degree, the third degree, and the fifth degree, we get B flat major scale. Now that is just one way of learning major scale, by taking the first, the third, and the fifth from the scale, and you get the chord. Now the other way that you need to learn how to build major scale, and this way is very important, is by using intervals. If you don't know intervals or need a refresher on intervals, I also have made a tutorial on that, so you can check it out. Now, a major chord, let's go back to C. Triads are broken down, or can be broken down, into 2 thirds. And again, a third, for example, in the key of C, is from this note to this note, from C to E, or 4 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the distance between a third or major third to be more specific, is 4 half steps. The distance between a minor third is 3 half steps. So a major chord is broken down into a major third and a minor third. 4 half steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a minor third, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So the rule is a major third plus a minor third gives you a major triad or a major chord. Let's look at F major. It's the same thing. A major third, because a major third has 4 half steps, and a minor third, 3 half steps. So major third plus minor third combined gives you a major triad. We go back to B flat, it's the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4 half steps gives you a major third. 1, 2, 3 half steps gives you a minor third. Major third plus minor third gives you a major triad. And that's how you build a major triad. You can go anywhere and try that formula. Let's take a random key like F sharp. First thing you need to know is you need a major third followed by a minor third. So if we count 4 half steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's a major third. If we count 3 half steps, 1, 2, 3, we get F sharp major triad. Now it's very important to note, and I covered this in my tutorial on interval, that when you are counting interval, you cannot go 1, 2, 3, 4, because that's not counting intervals, that's counting notes. Counting interval, you have to first move, then count 1, because we're counting the distance. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, you're going to end up with some weird stuff like that, and it's not going to sound right. Also, the other clue to know if you have the right notes, you need to see a sort of symmetric stack of thirds. You know, it should look a certain way on the piano when playing a major triad or even in a minor triad. So if it doesn't look something like that, or if it looks something like this or like that, then you know, okay, I have the wrong notes. Let me take a look at that. Major third plus minor third gives you a major chord. Major triad. Now, minor chords, it's very easy to get to a minor chord. Take a major chord, and by lowering the third or the middle note a half step going to the left, we get a minor chord. C, E flat, G. So if we have a major chord, by simply lowering the third of that chord, and the third is always the middle note, you get a minor chord. You hear the difference? Major has a sort of brightness to it, sort of liveliness. Minor has a certain dull sound. And so you want to practice your major chords in your minor chords so you get used to the sound and you can identify them orally by just hearing them. It's not good enough just to know them theoretically. You want to be able to hear them, because music is all about hearing. So you want to be able to identify major chord, minor chord. But it's also just as important to know how they're built, how they're structured, what's the sort of theory behind what makes a major chord and what makes a minor chord. So if we go back and try F major, by simply lowering the third, going to the left, we get F minor. major, minor. Let's go to B flat again and try that. B flat major, major third, minor third. Lowering the step, the third a half step, we get B flat minor chord. And so you see how it's easy to switch from minor to major and from major to minor by just shifting one note, either raising it from a major to make it from a minor to make it major, or lowering it, moving to the left, to make it minor. So I spoke of triads can be broken down into 2/3. Major chord is major third and a minor third. When you have a minor chord, it's just the reversed. It's now a minor third, 1, 2, 3 half step, combined with a major third. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So minor third plus major third gives you a minor triad. Minor third plus major third gives you a minor triad. Major third plus minor third gives you a major triad. So these are things you want to practice. Minor, major. And that's how you build a triad, major or minor, anywhere on the keyboard. Major, F sharp major, F sharp minor, F major, F minor, E major, E minor. So the two ways in which you can build triad is either from the scale, by just picking out the first degree, the third degree, and the fifth degree. You go to D major, pick out the first degree, the third degree, and the fifth degree of the scale, and you get a major chord. And again, if you want to make it minor, you simply lower the third a half step. Go to the left, to the immediate note, and you get a minor. If you have a minor chord and you need to make it major, simply raise the third, going to the right, to the next note, and then you'll hear the sound. So these are the two ways you want to practice your major chord. Know them based on the scale, but also know them individually. Being able to randomly just build a major or minor chord anywhere without thinking about what scale it's associated with. In my future tutorials, I will talk about the structure of the major scale and the chords derived from the major scale. For a quick example, C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished. I'll also do a tutorial on diminished and augmented triads and show you just how the major scale has a certain pattern where the 1, 4, and 5 are major, 2nd, 3, 6 are minor, 7th diminished. But again, I will do tutorials on those individually. So for now, practice the sound of your major chord and your minor chord until you can hear them distinctively. You're listening to a piece of music on the radio and you can go, that's a minor chord right there. That's a major chord right there. You want to know them orally. All right, well, thank you for watching this tutorial and continue practicing and have fun with it. Have a good evening.